Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 87 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Gage, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. For anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard, and we do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. Number one is to stay in tune with you guys, to go through the same process you do every single week or maybe month, just depending on how often you live stream, go through the same process you guys do. And of course, to answer your questions. So if you have any questions throughout this live stream about StreamYard or anything in general, feel free to drop them in the chat. And we always make sure to remind people of our three pillars every single week. And those are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. Let's see who we have tuning in tonight. Appreciate all the hellos. And I also appreciate you guys tuning in on Labor Day weekend. I imagine a lot of people are, camping and whatever else you do on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, with COVID, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do on Labor Day weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Home camping. I'm sure, if it's your family or something.
See a few new faces and a lot of the usual ones. Hi, Bujama. Nice to see you here. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. David, thanks for tuning in. Nice to have Ross here. One of our subjects tonight is we actually have some new shows, and Ross is doing an introduction on Monday with some of the new streamers on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching on one of the other destinations, make sure you also subscribe to StreamYard on YouTube, because we have lots of great content coming on YouTube, which I'll talk about in a bit here. But before I forget, let's jump into the first two subjects. So we have the StreamYard Spotlight every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern with your hosts, Dana and Kelsey from StreamYard. And it's a show about you. It's a show about the awesome streams that you guys make using StreamYard. And they do interviews to sort of spotlight how people are using StreamYard in exciting ways. So if you're interested in being in that on that show, be sure to reach out to Dana. And we, of course, have, like I said, Ross doing StreamYard Connect Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And he's actually doing a special show tomorrow with some of our new show hosts, which I'll mention here. We've got Nick Nimmin, Dean Nimmin, Daniel Batal, and Roberto Blake will be joining the StreamYard team to be creating awesome content for us on YouTube specifically. So if you guys are interested, maybe you're not on YouTube at all, or you're already on YouTube and want to learn more about how to be successful on YouTube, how to grow your channel, all kinds of content like that, be sure to follow us on YouTube. Many of you are probably already familiar with the Nimmins and Daniel and Roberto. They make great content, so hopefully there's some excitement there. And just check the comments.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So these are like guys that they know a lot of, kind of like with Ross, right? They just know a lot about how to do a good live stream, but then also like just how to build a solid channel on YouTube. So I think it'll be great to start taking that to the StreamYard users.
Hey, Sebastian, nice to see you here. It's been a minute. Looks like Eileen Smith is here. Hey, Eileen, missed your comment. Oh, there it is. First subject I wanted to touch on tonight was stream monetization. This used to come up more in the past, but we haven't talked about it in a while. So I'm just curious, especially from some of the many regular users we have here, is how many of you are actually monetizing your streams? I know for many people, the most common situation is you have your own product or maybe a service, and the live streams are just sort of a form of content marketing where you're driving people to your product or service. But I'm curious how many people are exploring alternative forms of monetization, like maybe you take donations, maybe you do brand deals, maybe you have affiliate relationships with products you promote in your streams. Let us know, because we'd be curious if you'd ever be interested in StreamYard creating features to sort of facilitate some of that stuff, like maybe ways for brands to connect with you, so it's easier for you to basically find people who are interested in your content. Let us know if that's something that's interesting, or if it's, I'm doing fine with my own product and service, and you're just happy with the way things are. Let us know. We'd be curious.
Yeah, it's definitely. I imagine it's a very, I don't want to say polarized, very different things. I imagine there's some people like, I don't need that at all. I'm like what we do, right? It's not like we wouldn't be trying to make money from our town hall. I'm sure there'll be a lot of those, but I bet there's also a lot of you that it'd be great to make some money on your show, because like you just do the show for the purpose of the show. So yeah, I'm curious to hear what people say on this one.
Yeah, especially some of the more, like you said, I've seen lots of shows where it's like, it's like a whiskey show, or you do just something it's like some sort of subject you're passionate about.
Yeah, like the show is the product kind of.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Those are the ones I'm most interested. Like Is there anything we can do for you there?
Thanks for all the hellos. Nice to have all of you here. Woody's using Facebook for nonprofit donations. Very cool. Yeah, that's true. Facebook actually recently added some great options there for monetization. So I'd be curious how many of you are using things like that. Like if you're primarily monetizing through super chats, or I don't actually know what the name of, it might just be called Facebook supporters. Now pages that are over a certain size, you can basically, the same way you can become like a Twitch subscriber, you can become like a Facebook, supporter.
Is this the members thing? Same thing or something else now?
Just Facebook. What remind me what members?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about YouTube. You're talking about Facebook?
Oh no, I'm talking about Facebook. So Facebook's thing is I think it's called supporters, and it's the equivalent of like probably Twitch subscribers and YouTube
members.
Members on YouTube. Yeah. They're all pretty similar. So let us know if you're using any of those. Eileen monetizes with super chats, Twitch subs, Patreon, and affiliate marketing. Very cool. Patreon's a good one. I forgot about Patreon.
Yeah. Definitely has its use cases. Like I'm sure some people almost solely go off of Patreon.
And Eileen mentioning that Facebook has paid events. Yeah, that's a relatively new one as well, which seems like a cool option for things like musicians or events that, you want to actually make some investment and actually be able to make some money on your particular event. So it's cool that Facebook's supporting that type of stuff.
Yeah, sweet. Is that like a COVID thing? Like that came out since COVID?
It's very recent. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. At least that's when, I could be off, but I think that's when it started really getting pushed out. Starfleet is a fan of swapping people's positions. Cool. Glad you're a fan, Starfleet. Yeah, for anyone that missed that one last week, you can now move people. So I can show you really quick. So Dan can be on the left side instead of me, or in the big position. I think Dave, who's here tonight, was a big champion of that feature. So we were certainly happy to add it. Dave monetizes his main channel using affiliate links for products. Very cool. Yeah, the affiliate route can be a very effective way to go. I've seen a lot of, especially when you position it in a way that's not, I don't know what the best word to use is, where you don't go straight for the sale. If you position it in such a way to really, create value and educate people on how to do something, whether it's to build an audience or have success in something where the product just sort of makes sense, I think that can be definitely a very effective strategy. Pat Flynn is a good example of someone who does that really well. Pete says, yeah, monetization would be good to have an option to set it on for YouTube. Yes, that's a common thing that comes up, Pete, and it's something we will add, assuming that YouTube allows us to check that. RR saying good morning from the Philippines. Good morning to you. I guess while we're waiting for some of the more some more of the monetization answers to roll in, we do have one tiny announcement that's coming relatively soon, Sandy. So I'll mention that now. So this one has been requested for a while. So we've gone back and forth with the best thing to call it. So narrator voice, you may be able to guess what it is or not. Do you want to talk a bit about what that actually means, Dan?
Yeah. So let's start, I guess, with the use case, because some of you will probably be thinking, well, I don't need that, but a lot of you might actually end up using it, and a lot of people have asked us for it. Like there's certain use cases that really need it. So yeah, narrator voice is basically the ability to have someone that you can't see, but you can still hear. So, and as Gage said, like we haven't released this yet. This is kind of like a sneak peek for the core audience that watches this. So this will be coming out sometime this week. And yeah, basically say I turned off my camera, instead of me just like showing the avatar. I'm not sure what my avatar is, so let me just check. I'm always testing things. Okay. so instead of Gage just showing his avatar like that, he would just be gone. So he's hidden. Now I would be full screen. Yeah. But you can still hear him. So it's just a setting we're gonna add that allows you allows you to be heard without being seen at all. And it basically just does it for everyone. So then if I turned mine off as well, we would both be hidden, but you can still hear both of us.
And just see the overlays and backgrounds and things like that. I think I actually saw Mike Alton in the stream. So Mike, I think this is exactly what you were looking for some of the production stuff. So people that are producing streams for other users that want to sometimes play in audio effects or things like that, this could be a useful option. It's not easy to demo with 2 people, because if it's just 2 people, you can obviously I could just full screen Dan and you wouldn't see me. But if you have 3 people or you have more people, is when it sort of comes into effect.
Yeah, so as you said, the producers is a very common one. So somebody's running the show and maybe they want to do some narrating or some talking, but they just want their 2 or 3 guests to be the only ones on screen. Really great for that. Or even if the producer, maybe they're not saying anything, but they want to like pipe in some background music, and they don't want to have like the other guest have to worry about setting that up themselves. You can like pipe that music directly into the stream from like you can have the more tech savvy person deal with that, like the person producing the show, and none of the guests have to think about it. So yeah, narrator voices is the name we've gone with.
I think it's a good name. It sounds like people understand what it is. So cool. Sounds like some people are excited about it. Very awesome. Yeah, one cool thing it will be for is, I don't know how many people know this, but we actually have a lot of people on Broadway doing shows with StreamYard who are literally using it as like, or who would like to use it as truly a narrator type voice for a play or something like that. So
yeah,
we're happy to support that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I mean, when we get requests for it, it's a lot of different use cases, but they all kind of want the same thing. I'm just like, I want to be able to talk or have music and not be seen on the screen.
That's a good question. Hausa Films, does it save on bandwidth? Yeah, if you turn, I guess I should double check with Dan, but it should. If you turn off your camera, you're going to be sending less bandwidth, unless I can't remember if we still capture in the background or not. So
the way it'll work is it'll be no different from if you just turned off your camera now. So like right now, if you turn off your camera, you send way less, right? Because you're really just sending the audio. So it's the same as that. It's just like now, instead of you showing that audio avatar, it won't show anything at all. So one cool use case, actually, like if you're just by yourself, or maybe there's a couple of you, you could turn the setting on and just have like everyone turn it off. And then you could just show like a background, right? If you just, because I know some people want to like customize kind of the look of their avatar background and stuff, like this would be a way to do that. So you just get rid of everyone's avatars.
Sandy says, how do we add an avatar? It's a good question. It actually changed not so long ago. So maybe if you could remind me, is it on the tile if you just click the three dots? Is that right, Dan? Yep. Yeah. So if you just click your tile, Sandy, when you're in the stream, the same way when you add yourself in the stream, there's those three dots, and you'll see an option to edit audio avatar, and that's where you can upload any picture you want as your avatar. And
by tile, you're just talking like at the bottom of the screen, like the small version of yourself, the three dots on that. You can also do it like when you're actually entering the studio. So when you're entering the studio, you can just like, if you turn your camera off, you'll see a little avatar, and there'll be a big button that just says edit avatar, and that lets you upload one.
Tony says, what megabits per second is StreamYard Pro at with 1080? I believe it's 4,500 kilobits per second, right, Dan?
Yep.
So 4.5-ish. Yeah, lots of fans of narrator voice. Very cool. We thought it was a relatively small feature, but it sounds like people are pretty excited about it, so that's cool.
Yeah, so sometime this week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. But yeah, sneak peek for the core audience here.
Brian says, can we, as the host, turn off the camera where people cannot turn their camera back on, audio only guest? No, we don't have an option for that at the moment. I'd be curious. Is it maybe, Brian, if they just have a really bad internet connection and you're wanting to help them out? Is that the reason for that? I'd be curious.
Yeah, or is it like a security thing? Like maybe you don't trust the people in the stream, or you just don't want them to accidentally do it. That's very valid as well.
Another thing we wanted to note, I don't remember the exact date, but just sort of a heads up to people, is the new Facebook UI is being rolled out. Well, it's already rolled out to a lot of people, but it's going to be, you're going to have no choice about it relatively soon, according to what I've seen on the sort of social media news. So you might want to just get used to it now, maybe roll over, start checking it out, and get used to where things are, because I believe it's by the end of this month that people are going to have to use it. Is that right, Dan?
I think so.
Unless they change their mind. You never know.
We'll see, yeah. I'm curious how big the pushback will be, just because of in the past, like I remember YouTube, was it the stars or something? When they changed
people did
like thumbs up or that, like just when people, or when big sites have changed small things, there's been like huge pushback. And this is like a very big site and a very big change. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. You have to assume they anticipate that though, right? So yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're just going for it. We'll see.
The last I've heard is you're going to be switched over relatively soon. So get
brace
ready
yourself
for that. Yeah, I haven't switched over myself, so I should probably start moving over. I can't seem to find a lot of the things I need. So hopefully they actually add everything by the time they switch everyone over.
Or maybe it'll be the thing where And if anyone knows, let us know. Like you're mostly on the new one, but when you really need a unique setting, it like pushes you back to the old one to change that setting. And then when you go back to like a normal link, like your homepage again, it puts you back on the new one.
It's cool. It sounds like Tony is one of the few fans. I haven't met too many people that are a fan of it, but that's good to know, Tony, that if you spend a bit of time, that it can be good. Maybe I'll give it a second chance. It was a long time ago that I actually tried it out. So
you have to assume if they're forcing it on people, it must be pretty good. One would hope, right? Like Facebook's a lot of talented people at Facebook, so. But it is still jarring.
Jimmy says, please add an option so when the live starts on Facebook, the guest has the option to click going live as well in order to get more viewers. I speak to celebrities, and that would be helpful versus just sharing my link. Thanks. Thanks for the feedback there, Jimmy. That definitely is a cool feature. I mean, one hesitation is sort of the duplicate content. So I know on some platforms, well, many of them actually, but I'm thinking of YouTube specifically, they have sort of that content ID. So if they see the exact same content on another channel, that can sometimes cause problems for you because of copyright and things like that. We can certainly look more into it. Like, I don't know, like maybe is a workaround where you can sort of flag something to say like, hey, we're mutually agreeing to host the same content. To the best of my knowledge, that's not really a thing, but I will definitely look into it because it would be a cool feature. It's fun to be able to sort of help promote the person hosting the stream.
Yeah, and maybe it just ends up being for Facebook or something. Like LinkedIn wouldn't like that as well, just because how their notifications work. But Facebook might. A lot of people do post to like several groups and pages and stuff, so could work there.
Scott says, would StreamYard be able to add stereo option for audio? StreamYard would be a great option for musicians. That option will likely be coming quite soon, Scott. Brian says, are hotkeys still on the roadmap? Would love to integrate with the Stream Deck. Hotkeys are still on the roadmap, Brian. Just quite a few other things on the roadmap as well, but that one is relatively high on the list. And we do have some more engineers now as well, so we have some more manpower behind us. So hopefully all kinds of things can start rolling out. Ricardo says podcasts can be made on StreamYard. The question is, will it connect to podcast networks? So right now, Ricardo, the way people go about it is just downloading the audio from StreamYard and then uploading it to a podcast host like Libsyn or Podbean or one of those. We've certainly considered making direct integrations with some of those just to make things easier. So be curious if that would be appealing to you. But right now, that's how you'd go about it. Rosanna says, any plans to be able to record audio of guests on separate tracks? Makes it easier for editing it into a podcast later. Yeah, that's certainly a common one. Rosanna, I don't have a specific date or anything like that, but it's certainly on our list of things because we know many people want to do heavy editing where maybe the guest had a dog barking at some point, and it would be nice to be able to just clip the individual tracks. Hey, Shadow, we're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Intangible Production says, would be great if we can have controls for audio so we can turn the volume down on one person, the panelist, and have the voice of the translator. Appreciate the feedback there. It's another common one, especially where just because you want to have as much control as the host as you can. Sometimes someone comes in and their mic is like crazy loud or crazy quiet. So we certainly would like to help out with that. Kunal says, hello again. Can you please enable us to have different permission access for users who log in? One of our hosts in the show downloaded our videos without permission. It'd be great if we can assign permissions. Could you make sharing documents easier as well? One click and ability to maximize documents. Appreciate the feedback there, Kunal. At some point, we might have more sophisticated team type features. Don't have a date or anything. It's interesting that's the level of granularity you want. I'd be curious what else, like how many specific things you'd want to limit. I mean, the first one I guess I would obviously guess is you probably only want certain people to go live, but I wouldn't have actually guessed the downloading videos. So maybe if you don't mind letting us know, like how many of the features you'd actually like to have control over, like editing the brand or the banners, like how specific do the tiers need to be? Anita says, can't live stream to group from mobile, must be from laptop or PC. So you should be able to. We recently added mobile streaming, Anita. You should be able to stream from your mobile device. Just make sure you're on the correct browser. So on iPhone, it will be on Safari, and on Android devices, it'll be the Chrome or Samsung browser.
Yeah, and you can't connect a group on your phone, but you can connect it on your computer and then stream to it from your phone. It's kind of weird, but basically, because Facebook will when we try to connect a group or something, it'll send you to their app, which doesn't have the ability to do that. So you need to connect it on something else, and then stream to it from you can. So you can stream to it from your phone. You just have to connect it on your desktop or a tablet, even like an iPad. There's also I was gonna say there's a hack where you can basically go to desktop mode on your phone, but it's kind of tricky.
Right.
So it is possible to do it on your phone. It's not easy to do.
So before we run out of time, I did have a couple more questions I wanted to run through with you guys. So one of those was green screen. So we haven't talked about the green screen feature for a while. I obviously have one behind me, but I generally just like to. I mostly use it for testing. I'm not usually actually using the feature itself. So we're curious, how many of you actually are using the green screen feature, and if you're a fan of it, if you would like it to be improved in some way, and then in addition to that, how many of you how big of a burden is having to have an actual green screen? Would you be a bigger fan if it worked like TikTok, or I think Zoom has it as well, where basically you don't have to have anything behind you and the quality won't be, well, it depends how good of, I guess it depends how well you do it. But generally speaking, the quality isn't quite as good. Maybe the edges aren't quite as fine. But you do have the convenience of not having to have an actual green screen behind you. So I'd be curious how many of you would be like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Or if it's I don't really care. Let us know. I know many people like it for sort of having the blurred background or bokeh effect, where it makes more sense for meetings, I guess, where you might not be prepared, or you have a messy background behind you in a live stream. Maybe you're a bit more prepared. That being said,
ideally,
I'm not always prepared. So
ideally, you're prepared. But some of the best streams, people aren't prepared, right? You just walk in and.
Yeah, having everything absolutely perfect is, I think, a bit overrated. People appreciate the authenticity of what you're actually like, what your background is usually like behind you. I mean, it depends on your content. If you're making it depends on your brand, but for some brands, it's better to just show the real deal, what's going on behind you.
Yeah.
The other question we wanted to quickly check on is pre-recorded streams. So this one has been coming up a lot in the StreamYard community group. And if you're not in that group, feel free to join it. It's on Facebook. You just type StreamYard on Facebook. You should see the community group there for StreamYard. So remind me, Dan, you were the one that you had this topic. What was the main question?
Yeah. So I was curious. This would basically be if you want to have a recording and stream that live, even though it's not really live, you already shot it, 4 hours ago. We've heard a few people that want to do it just minimize risk. Usually it's bigger brands. It's I want to, do a recording on StreamYard, and then, it'll feel like it's live. It'll kind of look like it's live, but then stream it 5 hours later. And so if something goes wrong, we can redo it or edit something out. And yeah, I'm just curious, is anyone interested in that? But also, would it just be if you did want it, is it okay if you just shoot everything on StreamYard? Is that what you would want? I'm going to shoot the video on StreamYard. It'll record it. We'll record it. And then 5 hours later, it'll go out to Facebook. Or would you want to be able to upload any random clip from, something you shot, I don't know, a year ago at some other event, or just any video file, basically? Is that useful as well? Or would you only use it with, StreamYard pre-recorded stuff?
Yeah, let us know. April says, I can't use the green screen because I need a better graphics card. Yeah, fair enough. It does actually use the, it's a bit confusing because sometimes you can have Intel chips sometimes have onboard graphics that work quite well. And sometimes you have a chip that doesn't have graphics at all and you do need an external card, but it does use the GPU of your computer. So you do need to have something, but surprisingly, low power devices often do have decent graphics, newer Chromebooks and even MacBook Airs and things like that should still be able to do it. But to answer your question, April, with this, if we made it so the green screen wasn't necessary, you would not actually need to upgrade your, most likely you wouldn't actually need to upgrade your graphics card.
We'll see.
It would depend on how we did it exactly, but most likely no. Dave doesn't use a green screen because the dogs would knock it down. Fair enough. So that's another point for the no physical green screen. Same with Randall. Would not like the green screen as well. Nice to see you, Randall. Randall does great shows on the food industry, I believe. So be sure to check out his shows on.
I was wondering what that icon was that he has. Is it a fish?
Where's that?
It's tough to tell.
Between his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't actually see it. I must not have the font on my computer installed, so I can't see it.
I'm probably way off.
NLTMW says green screens often look cheap and fake unless they are done right. Zoom's virtual green screen sucks. Always erasing parts of the people when they move. So that's useful feedback. So I guess maybe people want it with no green screen if we can actually make it work well. But if it's maybe Zoom levels would not be acceptable. Let us know.
Yeah, and it depends too. Like if you actually have like a solid wall behind you, like this section, if that was your whole background, Zoom would probably work pretty well. But if you have like everything else going on here, yeah, it does okay.
iPad with Safari didn't work out to live stream, so I went to mobile. So you might just need to update the iPad, Anita. Make sure you're on the latest version of iOS, and you should be able to do live streams from your iPad device. Yeah,
unless it's like very, very old. Like I have a iPad Mini 2, which I think is from like 2012 or 13, and it's not supported anymore. But all the versions after that will be.
Sandra says, "Can both options be available?" Yeah, we won't get rid of the old option, Sandra. I'm just curious how many people would really want the other version. The Real says it's a shrimp, possibly.
Shrimp? Okay.
Thor Web Dev says, "Any chance you can put the video above the full screen share using the green screen feature?" Oh, that's a cool idea. So you could basically have your screen share behind you. Is that what you? I think that's what the statement is. Is that how you understand it? In?
I think so. Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, we can certainly think about that. That would be cool. It'd be harder with guests and things like that. Of like, I guess you would just full screen the guests. But yeah, something to think about. The RSS says, "Any chance of extending the videos by more than 5 minutes?" That's another common one, RSS, and we are considering and looking into removing more and more restrictions on the overlays because we keep increasing things and still not enough. So more options will likely come. Carl says, "A pre-recorded segment / show would be nice to schedule as live later on." Good to know. It sounds like some people would like to, just upload rather than using StreamYard itself. Good to know.
Yeah, I guess one thing to add is platforms typically don't like that stuff. Like I don't think they have hard rules, most of them, but they're not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, you usually are supposed to. I know Facebook's rule is you should clearly label it as pre-recorded, and then some of the other platforms are out. It's just you're just not supposed to do it at all.
Yeah, like do you know if LinkedIn allows it? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I totally get it though. Like,
fan of uploading the videos.
It's an easy thing to abuse, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it depends on the sort of environment you're trying to create with your live platform, right? If, especially, I can definitely see it with LinkedIn, especially because they're such big companies. Like, if you're trying to create a platform that is like that type of content where it's real and anything can happen, and then because it's so, business and formal that people don't want to take the risk, and it ends up just being, basically like Facebook premieres or YouTube premieres. I do understand. Brendan tuning in from Australia. Well, thanks for joining us. Looks like we're just about out of time here. We'll check back on the questions afterwards to see if we missed anything critical. But thanks so much for hanging out with us, especially on Labor Day weekend. It was a lot of fun. Well, it's always fun. It's always fun having you guys here asking questions and contributing. So we can't thank you enough for that. This was episode number 87 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall, and we will see you next week at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific on Sunday.
Awesome. It's always good chatting with you.